Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday, September 22nd, 9:54 p.m. And this is Dr. John WorldPeace, JD. JD stands for attorney, doctor of jurisprudence. I was an advocate and a counselor in the courthouse, and now in this capacity, in this video, I'm an advocate and counselor for Jesus Christ. Now, I want to talk about abortion and the Christian fuzzy, wrong-headed thinking about abortion. This is one of the key issues that's a huge detriment to American democracy and values. So let's begin. Everybody knows that the human body is nothing but dust and ashes. The book of Job, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The human body procreates other human bodies. Human bodies are vehicles. What are they vehicles for? They're vehicles for an incarnate spirit. The incarnate spirit is created by God and is immortal. The body is mortal and finite. The spirit is immortal and infinite. When humans come together and procreate, there's an embryo and then a fetus for 9 months, and then there's the birth of a child. That fetus, under the law, has no rights at all. Not until it comes out, is born, and takes its first breath. Now, the abortion issue is we can't kill these fetuses. Well, first off, a fourth or a tenth, of all pregnancies end in a miscarriage. So 10% are just by nature discarded. When the egg and sperm come together and there's an embryo, then the spirit attaches. And when that fetus dies, that spirit continues on. Abortion, and this needs to get into the Christian mind, abortion cannot kill a spirit which God created and is an immortal entity. So when you abort a child, a fetus, it's not a child until it's born, you kill the body. The dust returns to dust. But you do not kill, you do not have the capacity, and it's arrogant for any human being to think that they can kill a spirit. It's nonsense. So an abortion is the killing, the terminating of a human, mortal, finite, dust body. Now, when you think about that, and I'm not going to talk about capital punishment now, when you execute somebody, except briefly, you can't kill the soul, you can't kill the spirit, you kill the body. So the capital punishment issue is that this individual, this spirit incarnate in this body, has done things that are so heinous that society takes it upon itself, and rightfully so, to terminate the human body, the finite human body, not the spirit. So we need to sweep out this Christian arrogance like they're going to kill an immortal, infinite spirit with abortion. It ain't going to happen. You can't. Jesus was asked about a woman who married 7 brothers. Whose wife is she going to be in heaven? And Jesus says, hey, there's no marriage in heaven. There's no procreation in heaven. Humans cannot procreate spirits. Only God. So there's no point in sex and gender in heaven. Which gets on to other issues about discrimination of women, but for now we're talking about abortion. In heaven, you have an angel body. You cannot procreate souls, only God. So coming back here to earth, when there is an abortion, you are killing, terminating the vehicle of his spirit. And the spirit has to disconnect and go on elsewhere. And there's all kinds of thoughts about that, and I'm not getting into that right now. The key is when a fetus is aborted, it's the body, finite mortal, that will die anyway at some point, is what is terminated, not the spirit. Now here we have a situation where righteous, fuzzy thinking Christians, wrong-headed thinking, because of the false prophets they listen to and the false preachers, believe that they can kill, that's what it's really all about, that they can kill a spirit. Nonsense. The body dies. Okay, I'm not for abortion. I think it's a sad event. I think it's very sad. But this has to do with the woman and the baby within her womb. It's nobody else's business, really. And let me make this really clear. If you're not willing to adopt a soon-to-be aborted fetus, then stay out of the conversation. And further, for you righteous folks who want to legislate against abortion, fine, do that. But here's the flip side of the coin. When you vote to prohibit abortion, that bill, that law, that statute must have a companion statute that says you will create welfare to support that unwanted fetus. You cannot say you can't have abortion and we're not going to support it. You are stepping into a woman's life and saying you must have this child, and guess what? We're not going to personally adopt it, and we're not going to give you any money to support it. Good luck. Well, Jesus said, whatever you do to the least of me, you do to me. So, Christians, when you demand that a child, that a fetus, keep saying child, it's not a child till it's born, if you demand that a fetus be allowed to be born and become a child, and then you say we're not going to support that child that we have demanded is to be born, then guess what? You own all the negative things, the hunger, the lack of health care, and all the other lack of love. You own all of that. And Jesus said, if you don't care for the sick, if you don't support the poor, You've done it to me, and folks, according to the Bible that you Christians believe, and I'm not a Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus, but a Christian is a corporate card-carrying person. I'm not that. I believe in Jesus, not the church. But for you Christians, and sometimes I call myself a Christian, I don't say follower of Jesus all the time, but I'm not a corporate Christian. Jesus said, whatever you do to the least of me, you do to me, you own it. Folks, when you bring these unwanted children into this world and then you refuse to adopt them or refuse to support them, you own it. You will, under your belief, you will stand in front of Jesus and he's going to ask you why you didn't support these children you determined that you were going to have born and overrode the right of a woman to determine what goes on in her own body. Now, this is something that never gets talked about. You know why? Because the abortion issue is a power issue. It's a control issue. It's about getting the Christian vote. Oh, we're going to put judges on the bench that are not going to allow abortion, and we're going to put statutes on the book that are not going to allow abortion. But oh, hey, wait a minute. We're not going to support these kids. We're not going to adopt them. We're not going to support them. We're just going to make sure they get born. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Christian brothers and sisters, you're taking on a big job. Because every child born under your anti-abortion bill, you own whatever negative stuff happens to them, especially negative stuff that has to do with the lack of money and child care and health care. You own it. It's time to wake up. It's time to quit being manipulated by false preachers and corrupt politicians for the sake of power. And they jazz you up over this abortion issue. You cannot kill a spirit. God has not granted that to any human being. The body dies only. The spirit goes elsewhere. I don't know where the spirit goes. It goes back to wherever it came when it entered the embryo. But I want you to understand, if you want to hold on to your abortion issues, then you plan on owning up to all the grief and suffering these unwanted children have. And when Jesus asked you, why didn't you adopt that child you demanded be be born, what are you going to say? Oh, I just wanted that woman to have a baby, but I didn't want anything to do with it. Wake up, folks. Wake up and smell the coffee. You want these children born? You own them. You're responsible for them. You will provide them money. But I've never seen an abortion bill ever that was tied to welfare. That's the way it is. That's the reality of the abortion issue. It's a manipulative issue between preachers and false preachers and corrupt politicians. Think about it. And I want to say one last thing. If you okay universal birth control, prophylactics, diaphragms and such, you don't have to get to the abortion issue in many, many cases. The sin, if you will, that you have, that you're taking on, is significantly reduced if you allow birth control. Think about it. you're being manipulated. You're being taught false truths about Jesus and about God and the repercussions and what you own and what you don't own. Abortion needs to be left with the woman and her decision about her body. This is John WorldPeace. Have a good day. Good night.